Think you know the British language? Think again. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 things British people say, but don't mean. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at the remarkable way we can say one thing while actually meaning the total opposite. Number 10, not too bad. We don't usually like to cause a scene, even downplaying our everyday language to avoid making a fuss.
And I said, "Good morning, Mum, how are you?"
Don't get emotional, we're not Spanish.
Because when someone asks you how you are, there's really only one response, and it pretty much covers all bases. Whether you mean really great or really awful, these three little words will achieve all your conversational needs. Not too bad. It's a brief, non-committal euphemism to get us politely through small talk, but it dodges anything that requires us to actually open up. It's rarely the best descriptor for how we truly feel, but it's not too bad.
Hi Stevie, how are you?
Okay, although
Just to turn a phrase.
Number 9, I trust you.
Do you trust me?
No.
Well, then I shall have to do something about that.
If someone says this to you, don't be easily fooled into thinking they actually mean it. Maybe they do, but often when a Brit claims that you have their full trust to complete a certain task, it's more of a lightly veiled threat. And it works especially well if said with a knowing smile and a subtle raise of the eyebrows. For example, "Sure, you can borrow the car, I trust you," actually means, "Sure, you can borrow the car, I'm not really sure if I actually do trust you, but you better return it in perfect condition, or else."
I'll burn your bollocks off!
Number 8, I'm only going for one drink.
I hope you're not one of these journalists who gets their subjects sloshed so they spill the beans. Because that isn't gonna happen.
Now the pub. Is there a more archetypally perfect place to while away your days in Britain? Probably not. And while we're not all the raving drunkards that pop culture paints us as, no one's fooling anyone when they say, "I'm only coming for one drink." A well-meaning proclamation, yes, but it's also never gonna happen.
Drink up, let's boo-boo.
One moment you're stopping off for a quick half and a bag of crisps. The next you've spent the last half hour singing Queen's greatest hits on karaoke, it's last call, and you're propping up the bar wondering where the time got to.
Oh, man, haven't you had your tea?
Number 7, brilliant. Sarcasm. They say it's the lowest form of wit, but we've managed to turn it into an undisputed art form.
Brilliant.
To the untrained ear, the word brilliant would surely be a positive adjective. But no, in our cynical British reality, when something's described as brilliant, it rarely actually is. In fact, it's the opposite. Your car's broken down in the middle of nowhere. Brilliant. You're running late, your toast is burnt, and you've just ripped a hole in your trousers. Brilliant.
You there, computer man. Fix my pants.
The word perfect works in a similar way, really. If an eye roll could talk, this is what it would say, because what we actually mean is, well, that's ruined.
Brilliant. That's that ruined, isn't it?
Number 6, with all due respect. It's the universal phrase for softening the blow, but at the same time letting someone know that you don't really respect whatever it is they've just said or done.
Well, with all due respect, Mr. Holmes, you know John very well.
Say someone's just done the unthinkable, laughed in the face of the most sacred of cultural stereotypes, and pushed in front of you in the queue. You might say, "With all due respect, kind sir, I was in front of you." Again, it boils down to not wanting to cause a scene, so with all due respect is merely a more polite way of telling someone that you think they're definitely 100% incontestably wrong.
To be honest with you, I couldn't care less. Good night.
Lasso, don't you dare go back in there.
Number 5, I really think we're gonna win it this year. Few things unite the British more than a major sporting event, especially the World Cup, and the unshakable optimism that this year it's coming home. Like clockwork, hopeful fans at first doubt their team's chances, but then convince themselves that they really are world beaters before eventually, usually, having to accept defeat.
Just promise me you will not let this get too far.
I promise.
It isn't only football either, with the Olympics inevitably serving as an opportunity for casual fans to suddenly become overnight experts on sports that they'd otherwise never follow. It's a peculiar fever, but it briefly bonds us all over the heady belief that this year is our year. Number 4, it's a bit wet out there. The British aren't fazed by a drop of rain. It's basically in our DNA. And yet, it never grows old to brazenly claim that it's a bit wet out there when it's absolutely pouring down. It's just one of life's simple pleasures whenever the weather's especially bad. An essential tip if you're ever a visitor to these parts, take everything we say about the weather with a proverbial pinch of salt.
What a battle it was! What a storm we endured!
A bit wet out there means it's a torrential storm, a tad windy means it's gale force, and it's absolutely boiling means that the temperature has for once reached higher than 20 degrees Celsius.
Very hot. It's too hot. What's the temperature?
No, I'm not 12.
No, go away.
Number 3, you've caught the sun. Sticking with the weather, British summertime is often so mild, you may not even notice it's happening. But while thousands do head elsewhere in search of a tan, thousands more spend long days in the garden trying and failing to host a barbecue or long weekends at a muddy music festival, apparently oblivious to the sun in the sky. And so by August, cries of "You've caught the sun" ring out.
What's happened to you?
Why, have I caught the sun?
Which means one of 3 things. Either you're very tanned, and the person you're talking to is jealous, you're properly sunburnt, and they're concerned, or you're just as pale as you've always been, and they're just trying to be polite. Either way, caught the sun hardly does it justice. Number 2, it's fine. If there's one rule about British conversation, it's this. If it's fine, it's not.
The news we're getting from the security services is that everything is fine here and back to normal. That's the latest. As you can see behind me, everything is now fine. Ignore the smoke, that's just from the recent explosion because, as I say, everything is fine now.
Another example of the lengths we'll go to sidestep revealing what we truly think. Fine is a one-size-fits-all rebuttal for any time something's truly unsatisfactory.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
When your boss asks you to work late for the umpteenth night in a row, it's fine. When you fell over in public and you're actually quite badly injured, but you want to save face, don't worry, it's fine. And when your hairdresser asks you what you think of the quite clearly terrible haircut he's just inflicted you with, oh no, honestly, it's fine. Number 1, sorry. Sorry, but if you thought this wouldn't be on number 1, then where have you been?
I'm sorry if you think I'm being obstructive, but I cannot and I will not do as you ask.
Well, you can't stop me, Terry, okay?
The standard bearer for British over-politeness, we've typically said sorry before our brain even has a chance to catch up with our mouths. According to a 2016 BBC article, the typical Brit says sorry approximately 8 times a day, and 1 in 8 of us will in some way apologise up to 20 times every 24 hours.
I'm very sorry for saying you should be kept in a cage.
Whether we actually mean it when we say it almost doesn't matter anymore. It's a force of habit, second nature, and we're not sorry. Well, maybe a little sorry.
Sorry about that.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.